This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Well, listen, you became the first Money in the Bank winner, the first one. You defeated John Cena for the world title. You had a live sex show on TV. What was it about the heel Edge character that you think changed the course of your career in 2005 and 2006?
You know, for me, my goal as a heel, I truly wanted to be despised by 100% of that audience. That was my goal. I didn't want one person cheering me. And so I would try and present myself in a way that there were no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Like, you couldn't say, oh, well, you know, he's got kind eyes. You know, it was like, I wanted you to think that I was the worst, sleazy, maniacal, do anything to get to the top. That was really the mantra for Edge at that stage, for the Rated R Superstar, is all he cares about is the world title. That's it. And everything will be geared toward explaining that to the audience. And he will use Vicky Guerrero, who's in a position of power, to get to the top. He will, whatever it is that he needs to do, or whatever chess pieces he needs to move to get there, that's what the character of Edge is going to do. And I hoped that in doing that, again, 100% of the audience would despise me. It didn't always work, you know, but for the most part, I think it did, you know. And really, I wanted to be the Joker to John Cena's Batman, or Superman, actually, you know, or maybe Lex Luthor is a better analogy. But I really wanted to be that polar opposite to him, and be that Roddy Piper for his Hulk Hogan. And that became my goal. And then from there, okay, again, back to SmackDown, and as the world champ on SmackDown and all these huge baby faces chasing, I tried to kind of take the Ric Flair mentality of that backpedaling heel who could lose any night. And that was a lot of fun, you know, to try and get the audience to believe that, oh yeah, Edge could totally lose this, like on a house show, and it would be entirely believable. That champ that's ripe for the picking kind of thing. So that was really the mindset going into that. And again, I'd pull from musical resources. So like, I always thought, you know, Edge during the Rated R with Lita and all of that, it was kind of like Guns N' Roses, Motley Crue, like that. Like, oh, what a sleazy bastard, you know, like that kind of feel.
I love it.
You know, and that really was where I was tapping into at that point. And I'll use movies and I'll use books and music a lot for reference points like that.
Well, you were the Rated R Superstar and you were really good at it. Did you enjoy it?
At times. There was a time I definitely didn't, you know, and I think when everything with Matt and with Amy, I didn't enjoy any of that. That was hard.
Yeah, that was really tough.
Yeah. It was, you know, and it was a position that I put myself in. So I just thought, okay, well, I made my bed, so I gotta just deal with this. And then I thought, okay, well, we're here now. How can we pull a positive? Let's make some money. And that's what we did, is really just try to, okay, this is the situation. Now let's try and get something good out of this, like, pretty lousy scenario, right? And so that aspect of it wasn't fun. But I think once I got to John, now the matches were, though, strangely, if that makes any sense, you know, because I loved working Matt. But then
great chemistry.
We did. It was just there, right? But when I got to John, and we kind of got on the same page, and he realized what I was out to do, which was just that, to make him Superman. And once we both had that understanding, then we were off and running, because I don't think that program was supposed to last more than 3 weeks. And after WrestleMania 22, and I got to work Mick, who is another guy that just did so much for my career. Then they circled back to John and I, because I think it had worked so good in that 3 weeks, and ratings went up and all of those things, you know, the website hits and everything went through the roof. So it was like, go back to that. And then once they went back to us, I think we ran for like a year and a half after that, just night in, night out.
They rebooted the program, huh?
Yeah. And then they'd reboot it again after, and they'd reboot it again, and we'd end up on SmackDown, it'd be rebooted. And then, it kept going and going and going. The only thing with John and I, we never wrestled a one-on-one at WrestleMania.
Wow.
Which is
Surprise.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, right?
You guys worked a lot together.
We did. We worked everything else but.
And they say never say never. So who knows?
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I'm back. So
That's right.
I heard he's coming back too.
Yeah, I mean, it's the scent is in the air. You never know. Could happen one day.
I tell you what, from that mid 2000 point to 2010, 11, it didn't get any better than Edge and John Cena back then in those days. So just great chemistry. And talk about your relationship behind the scenes with John. You guys got along? Did you talk through Matt? What did that look like during that period?
John's very much a performer, and that likes to feel a crowd. You know, I kind of liken him to this is a strange example, but I liken him to Eddie Vedder, and that Eddie Vedder will drop a set list for Pearl Jam, different one every night, and change it on the fly because he's feeling the audience. And that's what John and I would do, because you don't know from night to night what an audience is going to do. So to be able to think on your toes and be able to go with your gut out there, that's what John and I did, and that was fun.
I want to let everybody know how difficult that is to improvise while you're wrestling. Not very many wrestlers actually can do it, and you're one of the very few that could. You and John definitely.
It makes it fun, because even as a performer, you're like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but once I feel them, I'll do it. So it can feel spontaneous, and Eddie was the same way.
I get it. It's a wrestling podcast, but he's saving us money on our mortgage. Do you really trust this process? The reviews don't lie. 5-star review after 5-star review. We make it fast, we make it easy, and it's no cost or obligation. Give us a shot to earn your business. I'm telling you, you'll be glad you did, especially if you like keeping more of your own money. You don't need perfect credit or money out of your pocket, so what are you waiting for? Hurry to savewithconrad.com.
Eddie really, liked to feel an audience, but Eddie was funny because he'd get mad sometimes when he couldn't feel them, and he'd get frustrated, and then
He had a temper.
Yeah, and then that would lead into the match, and you're like, Eddie, calm down, man. It's good. We're gonna get him.
It's the worst when Eddie gets worked up in the ring. You're right. Oh my gosh, I did a lumberjack match with him once, and he wasn't feeling good that night, and he was freaking out, just going crazy. I couldn't control him.
Eddie, man. So like Eddie and I, not to get off topic or whatever, but Eddie was a guy that when I first worked him, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait. It was at SummerSlam in Long Island. You worked Ray that night. Still probably the strongest SummerSlam I can think of was that show.
That was 2002, right?
I think so. And just like you and Ray opened it up, and then you got me and Eddie. I think you had RVD and Benoit. You had Jericho and Flair. You had
It was stacked.
Brock and Rock. You had, Sean and Triple H. Sean coming back. It's an embarrassment of riches, that show. But I remember Eddie and I got to the back and we're like, it was okay. We both were like,
awesome.
We're chasing perfection, right? And there's no such thing, but that's what you're chasing. So it wasn't until our third match together, it was a no DQ match on SmackDown, and we're like, oh, we got it. This is what we were expecting. This was the chemistry. This was the match that when we both saw each other opposite each other on the sheet, this is what we thought it would be. But it wasn't that straight out of the gate one, because we're both really hard on ourselves to try and chase that perfection that just isn't possible.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.